Hi, my name is Mike Castro. I work at BBR Motorsports. I'm here to show you how to adjust valves on a CRF50 motor. First, you're going to need a couple simple tools. 8mm T-handle, 9mm offset socket wrench if you can have one. If not, any 9mm socket will actually work for you. A 5mm Allen. And not all motors need this. We're using this specifically for this motor. So when you're going to adjust your valves, this is your intake side and this is your exhaust side. Be careful that when you pull this off, knowing that if it's a running motor from before, there will be oil in this cam cover, so make sure that you put a bunch of rags down below to make sure you soak up a lot of the oil. So your valve adjustment clearances are the same between intake and exhaust. It can be between 2 and 3 thou clearance. And as long as you keep within that spec, or refer to your Honda service manual, it'll tell you the same thing. You'll be good to go. First thing you want to do is pull your engine cover off. Then you also want to pull your cam sprocket cover off. Next, you'll take off your tappet covers off. Both the intake and the exhaust side require the same adjustment, so we're just going to use the intake side just for reference point. The first thing that you'll need to do is actually get your motor to top dead center. And what you want to do, if you look on your flywheel, you're going to see a fire mark and a top dead center mark. And on the case itself, you're going to see a little notch. What you want to do first is to make sure that your motor is not on valve overlap. That's when both intake and exhaust valves are open. So what you want to do is turn the motor over. This dot should line up with the dot on the head. The timing mark should line up with the dot on the case. Like I said, just to make sure, you'll want to turn it over. You know you're on overlap when you get to the top dead center and you see the intake rocker starting to open up. So what you want to do is turn it around again, another 360 degrees. And line it up, top dead center mark, dot to head mark. Okay, now you're ready to adjust your valves, or at least check them. You can run anywhere from 2 to 3 thou clearance. We're going to use 3 thou as a reference right now, and you'll stick it in between the adjuster nut and on top of the cam. Install right in there. Now there should be a slight drag to it. If you can actually slide it in there pretty easily, you'll need to adjust your valves. And you do that by using your adjustment wrench. Break the nut loose. You'll have a special adjustment. You can get this at any Honda dealer or Suzuki dealer. It's a pretty universal piece. It's going to be probably about $5 or $6. Or you can use a pair of pliers for whatever you need to do. And you're just going to adjust this. And I usually stick my feeler gauge in there until I turn it until I get the right amount of drag on the feeler gauge. Then what you want to do is tighten the jam nut down. Sometimes the adjustment nut will want to spin, so you want to hold it there so it stays within the right clearance and give it a good snug pull on the wrench. Now that you got the right amount of feel, your valve adjustment is done. Go to the exhaust side, do the exact same thing. You can do it both on intake and exhaust when it's on the top dead center. Just be careful that when you pull the exhaust one off, if you had a running motor at one time, there's going to be a lot of oil running out of that, so you might want to put appropriate precautions to put a couple rags down so you don't get oil everywhere. When you're done adjusting the valves, just reassemble everything back the way it was before. Make sure that your O-rings aren't torn, that everything's free and clear of any dirt or debris. and just give it a nice snug tight. You don't really have to, a lot of people make the mistake of just over tightening things, and you really don't have to do anything like that. So I realize this head's a little bit different from your normal Sierra 50 head, and you'll be using a 10mm socket from the other end to pull this cam sprocket cover off, but you get the idea. Normal Honda head, you're going to have a cylinder or a cam sprocket cover that looks similar to this, with one bolt that goes all the way through the head. I realize this is a different style head, but it's the same adjustment no matter what you do. One thing that's also important, that when you do adjust these valves, you have to make sure that the engine is completely cold. If the engine is warm, your valve adjustments will be wrong, and when you go to adjust them and set them while they're warm, their valves are going to be too loose. So make sure that your motor is absolutely cold when you do so. So there you go. That's how you adjust your valves in a Sierra 50 motor. My name is Mike. Have a great day.